All right, here's another SAT review video on rational numbers, irrational numbers, and decimals. Just a couple pointers. When it comes to negative numbers, always keep in mind that the negative number that's closer to 0 is the larger number, right? So in this case right here, you have here -5 and -2. -2 is the larger number between these two because it is closer to 0. That's A. The second pointer is that when it comes time to thinking about rational and irrational numbers, you have to think that numbers that are perfect squares allow you to simplify, therefore they convert to rational numbers, whereas irrational numbers, when it comes to non-perfect squares, because you cannot simplify them, they will be irrational, which means they are going to be non-repeating and non-terminating. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and review some of these questions, right? Which of the following shows the numbers arranged in increasing order? Obviously, -5, I see it in the tail end. That means it's not in the correct order, so it can't be answer choice D. So now I'm going to look at answer choice C. Obviously, -5 is correctly placed on the tail end, and 4 is correctly placed on the latter end. Let's see when it comes to this, right? -3, that's going to be somewhat a little bit below 2 because the square root of 4 is going to be simplified to 2. And so this is correctly placed here. And 2/3 is a fraction, so I think like if 0 is here, you have negatives on one side, positives on the other side. 2/3 is correctly placed. And square root of 10 simplifies somewhat to 3 point something because the square root of 9 is going to give you 3, right? So this is correctly placed below 4. Correct answer is C. All right, question number 2 requires us to simply simplify this. And so let's go ahead and apply the orders of operation. 11 minus 2, I'm going to simplify the inside first. 2 minus 0.8 squared is going to give me 0.64 plus 24 divided by -4, okay? In this case right here, the goal is can you work as quickly as possible without a calculator, right? And the fastest way to think about decimals would be to think about it in terms of money, especially if there's only 2 decimal places. So here, in this case right here, I'm gonna ask myself, okay, what's $2 minus 64 cents? And that would give you $1.36. And then I could actually simplify the tail end. 24 divided by -4 is gonna give you -6. All right, now here you have 11 minus, and 2 times $1.36 will give you $2.72 minus 6. And then I'll actually use the commutative property to switch this around. 11 minus 6 is actually going to give you 5. So 5 minus 272. And the question is basically, what's $5 minus $2.72? And in this case right here, it's going to be $2.28. Answer choice B. Okay. Question 3. In this case, this is the one time where you would actually have to call upon the power of a calculator to actually use, because there's no way you can compute something to the 8th power in your brain. So in this case right here, I'm just going to write 5 and write exactly as I see it. Save some time by writing just 0.045. Close the parentheses, take it to the power of 8, and then press enter. That gives you that number, and then you're going to subtract it by 500 times 1 plus 0.04, close the parentheses, to the power of the 8th, press enter, and here you get 26.76, which gives us closest to the answer of C, 26.77 as to the nearest cents. All right, question number 4. Which of the following is an irrational number? Obviously, irrational means non-terminating and non-repeating. This is terminating, so that's correct. This is going to give us a repeating decimal, so that's going to be correct. I can simplify 16 because it is a perfect square, and it's going to simplify to -4. And so because I can't simplify -10, it is going to result in an irrational number. Question 5, which of the following is a rational number? Once again, if you look at these numbers, you can see that familiarize yourself and see how they can look like perfect squares, right? 1.6 looks like 16, so it seems like it can simplify. 49 over 64, that is going to actually simplify into 7 over 8, okay? And then square root of 0.9, it seems like it can simplify off the top of your head. And then -250 definitely is not a perfect square, so you can't simplify. But let's just take a look at whether we can take the square root, second square root of 1.6. Let's see what it gets us. It gets us a non-repeating and non-terminating decimal, so again, that's not it. And I would honestly say you don't have to check with your calculator. Once you get a fraction, you know it's a rational number, and so there's no need to check anymore. Yes. By definition, it's in the ratio of two whole numbers, okay? Second to last question, question number 6. This is very straightforward. Do not miss this when you see it on the SAT. In 30 plays, the team loses 5 yards, so this is minus 5, then gains 32 yards, so plus 32, and then a penalty was called, so they lost 10 yards, right? How many yards did the team actually gained? You know, you can, negative 5 plus 32 is going to give you 27, minus 10, leaves you with just 17 yards that the team gained. Question 7 is a little bit harder. It's asking, if BC is twice that of AB, what is the value of X? Well, first, your first job is to actually find the distance of AB first. And the distance of AB, if you do negative 121, like think about it as $1.25 minus 40 cents, you should get about 85 cents out, 0.85 cents out. And if it's twice that amount, twice the amount of 85 cents is going to give you $1.30, right? So there it is, but that's not the value of X, because X is whatever twice the distance of this added to 0.4, and so the value of X, 1.30 plus 0.4, or subtract 0.4 plus negative 0.4 is actually going to give you 0.90, and so the value of X in this case is actually 0.90.